Looking at number 7, it says write the converse of the true statement and decide whether the converse is true or false. If the converse is true, combine it with the original statement to form a true biconditional statement. If the converse is false, state a counterexample. So our statement says if a ray bisects an angle, then it divides the angle into two congruent angles. Okay, and we know that is true by the definition of an angle bisector. If a ray bisects an angle, then it divides the angle to two congruent angles. So let's write the converse and see if that's true. The converse, remember, is the reverse. You're swapping, you're switching your if and your then statements. So then it divides the angle to two congruent angles becomes if a ray divides an angle into two congruent angles. And then your if statement becomes your then statement. So we have if a ray divides an angle into two congruent angles, then it bisects the angle. So again, we just switched our if and our then statements, the hypothesis and the conclusion. So that's true. So our original statement and our converse is true, so we can join those together as a biconditional statement and say a ray bisects an angle if and only if it divides the angle into two congruent angles. All right, so that's number 7. Let's look at number 10. Which of the following is an example of the transitive property? All right, so the transitive property involves two equations or two equalities. And the transitive property says if A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C. So let's say x minus 3 is A and y is B. And so we have B here. And then let's say negative 4 is C. So if A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C. So x minus 3 is equal to negative 4. That's an example of the transitive property. Okay, let's look at number 14. Number 14, we have one equation and one equality, and we don't have, with the transitive property, you have on one side of the equal sign, you have the same value for two equations. We don't have that in this case. Okay, so this is going to be substitution. We're going to substitute the measure of angle 1 with 9 degrees, and we end up with 9 plus the measure of angle 2 is equal to 25 degrees. Okay, so let's stop there.